So let's talk about China, okay? Here's a guidebook from China from 82, 83, not so long ago, 25 years ago. And this is just a regular guidebook. Here's Guangzhou, third biggest city in China. Then here's Shanghai. Some of you have been there since then, and this was Shanghai then. And Shenzhen next to Hong Kong, which is a international trade center. And this is Shanghai today. So in the space of really 20 years, Shanghai became a world and global financial power and urban center. They built over 4,000 high-rises in that time. And all of China has been transforming itself in a way that is just completely dramatic. In fact, it boggles the mind. I first started going in 2004, not so long ago, and the changes, even in that period of time, are completely dramatic. When I went the first time, which is, again, 2004 in the fall, I had heard about the maglev, and I said, ooh, got to see the maglev, because I am kind of a train fan. And I got to the airport, the Pudong airport at Shanghai, and I started going around. I had my bags behind me, and I went, maglev, and nobody knew what I was talking about. Except one guy says, oh, maglev, and he points to this door, and literally pasted up on the wall is a handwritten sign in Chinese and English, says maglev. It's about this big. Okay, so I go, great. So I go through the door, never been there before in my life. I go through the door, now I'm in the parking garage, I'm looking around, okay, now what do I do? And there's another little pasted up sign. And I kind of walk and wander through the parking lot, and then I come into the film 2001. There's this great station. And in it, you buy a ticket and you go to this thing, okay? Still the world's fastest train. Doesn't go very far, some land use issues. Doesn't go very far, goes about 25 miles. World's fastest train, 267 miles an hour, and it has no wheels, okay? So, you know, all of a sudden you kind of see the power of this thing. So, you know, I got in the train, you can see 0 kilometers per hour, and in a couple of minutes, oops, did the wrong one. And in a couple of minutes, you're going 431 kilometers an hour. And you think you're actually flying about 30 feet above the ground. And I have a little video of that, but I'm not going to show that one because I'm going to show the new high-speed rail just in the interest of time. So what you have to understand about China is the scale. We're talking 1.35, 1.36 billion people. You're talking about a country that's going through an absolutely historic growth period. And you're also talking about a country that has an attitude which is, we want to do things and we can do these things. And so they have an urbanization plan to take them to about 2030 to move 300 million people into cities. 300 million more people into cities. That is greater than the population of the United States. And by the way, there are more people in China that speak English than there are people in America. So in concert with this urbanization move is the rail network move and the high-speed rail. Okay, so now you heard from our previous speaker some timelines. China is doing all this in 7 to 8 years, less than a decade. Less than a decade. Get from planning and inception to getting it done. From my seeing the maglev, the first thing they had, then we're going to do maglevs everywhere. It's a little expensive, so they're only doing some of them in Beijing. But they committed to high-speed rail, got the plan going, building the plan, okay? The plan involves about 14,000 kilometers of high-speed rail in and of itself, okay? And the more detailed plan is the high-speed rail network within a network of regular rail and infrastructure. Now, we're all excited about high-speed rail here in California, and I am too, but we have a little problem, and the problem, as the governor identified when we were with him, is money, M-O-N-E-Y. Obama last year committed $8 billion to this year. That was all fought over and split up, okay? And I think this coming year, it's only like, maybe I'm wrong, but I read $2.5 billion, so it's going the wrong way. China spends $95 billion a year on high-speed rail alone. And when they're done with the high-speed rail in 2012, they're spending $75 billion a year until the year 2020 on their overall rail network. You know how many people China Rail? I asked this question amongst groups of people. How many people does China Rail employ? Okay, and I get all kinds of numbers. You know, just think of one in your head. Well, they employ 6 million people. China Rail has 6 million employees. I mean, these are serious folks. Okay, so this is the Beijing-Tianjin station. This is the Beijing station of the Beijing-Tianjin line. It's about going from Boston to New York, something like that. And it is finished. This is one of the lines I commute on. And Tianjin is kind of a major eco-city, port city, satellite of Beijing, and it just had the Davos convention that they just had. It's become quite an important place. Well, this station is you know, massive and complex and intermodal. This is the Beijing side, many tracks, and like previous slides, you know, it's like a modern airport. You go in there. Very dramatic. You go to buy your ticket, you don't have to reserve a train, and you'll see why in a second, but you know, very big ticket counter, lots of choices, and then you go to a train. Now, this is the train schedule, okay? They run trains that run 211 miles an hour every 10, 15 minutes, all day long, and they're full. Okay, every 10, 15, no more. It's like the other station that was mentioned, I think to Lyon. There's no more airplanes between these cities. There's only high-speed rail, and you can drive. High-speed rail, 31 minutes. Driving, 2 hours and 15 to 30 minutes. 31 minutes, and it's like 110, 120 miles. And every 10 or 15 minutes. So you go through, your train is called, you go down, and you go in, the structures are marvelous, the trains are marvelous. There's different kinds of trains for different, you know, different lines and different speeds. They are running on, you saw a picture of the Wuhan station, which is a very exciting station. That's the newest, fastest line, and it's on its way to Beijing from Guangzhou across the country. It is the world's fastest scheduled high-speed rail, and this is in like 7 years, okay, or 6. And so you get on the train, you can sit up front or in back, and you can see the driver there in the cockpit in the beginning, and this is a shot in it, and I mean, oh good, get sound to it, so exciting. So the thing is incredibly smooth, and I've ridden high speed all over, and I go to Europe a lot, and I love the trains there. These are faster, and in some cases the newest line smoother. It's just remarkable. The area between these major cities right now is relatively undeveloped until you get close, and there's a false sense of speed. You don't think you're going that fast, you know, unless you're watching this stuff going by the windows, and you'll see a train go past here, and you know, and that train is about I don't know, a quarter mile long or so in length, and just to show you kind of what the speed really is about. So I'm standing in the rear, near where the driver sits when it's going that way, and I'm waiting for a train, and I've got it kind of timed, and I got my finger on the button of the camera, right? So when I hear the whoosh, I go click, right? So no train, whoosh, click. By the time my finger pushes the button down, just so you understand what we're talking about in speed, The nose of that train is a half a mile away already, okay? Just the, you know, things moved a half a mile down the track, so it's deceptively fast. And then you get to Tianjin. Again, the stations around the country are of significant size and complexity and intermodal. And one of the things I'm going to get at when I you know, kind of wrap this is that the implications of land use are transformative. And even though this is China and everything's big, there was some comment about, well, what about the stations, you know, along our lines here? It's transformative, and so the point about planning ahead is really important. The flows of people and the concentrations of the flows of people are so great that there will be an immediate shift in land use dynamics based on high-speed rail. And when you look at China and you look at the various intersections of the major high-speed rail lines, there are already developers, including US developers, going over there and kind of scoping out what's going on. And this just briefly is a plan we've done a little consulting on. It's in an area called Kunshin, kind of near Shanghai area, and it's to do a high-density development around the high-speed rail station, mixed use, and very compact, so it's very ecologic, and we can talk a little about that whole policy of cars versus, you know, multimodal. The Chinese are actually very advanced on the multimodal and the whole get out of the car philosophy, although they are buying cars faster than they are in the US.